Log into gyroscopemeet.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio Internet Radio Station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning there was Jack, and Jack had a groove. And after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories, and he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen, DJ man, so hot to you live. Get ready. I'll tell you, we got a good one today. We have a good one today. You know, every week when I do this show, it's always a thrill, but there's always a challenge. And today was one of those days, and I just want to before I introduce our guests and have a little conversation, just give them a big shout out and a big thank you for their help today. So let's do this. We're going to do a quick overview, which will be last week. Well, actually, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. We were off last week. We had DJ Nubian. Go back and check that out. Also, too, we're going to play the number one song according to Track Source. We're going to play a little snippet of it because, you know, Facebook is a nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. And then, in addition to that, we're going to play an old school track, a classic. And then after that, we're going to go into our, we'll do some updates in our interview. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be a good one today. I'm telling you, folks, this is the one you've been waiting for. Hey, listen to this. I want to, before I get started, I always like to give a little shout out to King T Finesse and Ariel Shante for putting our track together. But also, I want to give a big shout out to Chuck Roberts, the original gentleman who said, in the house, there was Jack. Now, in the beginning, there was Jack. Anyway, so with that said, hey, Chuck, why don't you play a little snippet of the number one song? It's Groove Junkies, and it seems to hang on. You know the song is a classic, remix, redid, reworked. And we're going to play a little snippet because Facebook is a nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Chuck, here we go. Yeah, folks, there you have it. Groove Junkies, it seems to hang on. It's their new track. It's number one on Track Source this week in the Soulful House category. Let me give you a quick update of what's happening, and then we're going to move this thing on. Hey, listen, give a big shout out to Chris Nelson, who did his annual event. It's almost like the kickoff season between that and the event that they do at the block party with Dawood. It's sort of like the kickoff for events, and I would say that the event that Chris Nelson did and his Goodwill organization kicked that off on Saturday. I'm going to say fortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it, but fortunately, that's because I was out making money doing parties. And I'm very, very happy about that, as you can imagine. Then on July 1st, I am super excited. I will be down along with some other DJs down in Baltimore. And it's going to be at from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's going to be 3 North Central Ave. It's going to be Saturday Night Madness. This is put on by DJ Exotic, Troy Morton. You may know him by DJ Exotic. It's part of the soap opera series. You're going to see flyers and stuff going out very soon. And like I said, I'm very, very happy because I'm going to be on that bill. Then July 8th, as you know, is Warrenco Park. And that's going to be the 8th annual Roselle House Music Festival. And also, too, Tawanda, who is our guest today, one of our guests today, just started a weekly show called House Calls, but you're going to hear about that in a little bit. I've got more events that are coming up in August. We're going to start announcing those in another 2 weeks, give or take. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. So now, listen to this. Let's take a break for a minute, and let's play the old school track of the week. Chuck, you know this is Delight, and it's called Groove is in the Heart.
We're going to dance. We're going to dance. We're going to dance and have some fun.
Dig. We're gonna fade that out. Well, you know, we fade that out only because Facebook has this nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the part of the show I've been waiting for. I'm super excited about it. It is none other than TNT, Tony and Tawanda, or Tawanda and Tony, however you want to do that. No, we fade that out only because Facebook is this nasty. Here we go. So, folks, how are you out there? I've been waiting for. I'm super excited about it. I'm sorry, I'm getting like a double thing going on here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so I'm super excited. I'm guessing you're in different places. This is how it's looking, huh?
We are. I'm at work.
Okay. So
I'm
listen
retired.
To this. I'm super excited about this because it's not that often that you get a chance to have a conversation with someone who's really on the forefront of a movement, if you look at it, in terms of what's going on in our community, and especially talking about the house music community, where, to be fair, it was all about hip-hop and R&B, and then, you know, you're part of that movement to bring that thing there. So let's start off with the easy stuff, and both of you, tell me a little bit about you guys.
Ladies first.
No, you can go ahead, baby.
Okay. DJ Tony Gray. I've been in the music business for over 40 years. I'm down here in South Carolina, still doing the house music things. And I've been married 7 years to my beautiful wife. Well, married 6, together 7 years. And she's my rock, and she keeps it moving.
Mm-hmm.
I try to.
Nah, you do. You do. Listen, Tony and I were joking. Well, I guess we weren't really joking. He said, you're the boss, and I said, I can relate because I have a social director. My wife. so, so, oh my goodness. So both of you, hey, Tawanda, tell us a little bit about you. And you know, I think what's very interesting is Tony's from the north and you're from the south. And what, I mean, out of all of the different things, all the movement around and stuff like that, and somehow you guys connected. And here we are many, many moons later. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about you, Tawanda.
Well, like you said, I'm originally from the South. I moved to Columbia where I met Tony. Did not know he was a DJ. I did not do social media. I didn't do any of this stuff. At that time, he was just on one radio station, My House Radio, and he did his Thursday show. So after a while, after we met, I was like, okay, what can I do to support you or help, with what you're doing? So he was just basically like, well, if you can just promote the show for me. And I was like, well, I don't have social media. So I started a Facebook page, sent out some friend requests to the same group that he had on his page. And it just kind of took off from there. My husband is very modest about who he is in this game. He's originally from Jersey.
All right now.
New
Go
York,
ahead.
Brick City.
New York, Brick City.
Brick City.
So he's played at the Trap, multiple places in Jersey. So if some people know, some people don't know, but yes, he is from Brick City. Like he said, he's been in this 40 plus years. Once I sat down with him and just found out his history as his wife, I was like, yo, people need to know who you are. And my job is to make sure people know and that he does leave a legacy as to what he does. He's extremely humble. He loves to pay it forward. He loves to help people, other DJs. There are other DJs that he has helped and been a part of their growing process that always are like, yo, I wouldn't be here without Tony. Stuff like that. So over the years, I've talked to many DJs like, yo, he's a good dude. Love that brother. Like he could call certain DJs, certain people that are on certain status that, people would know that he knows, and they pick up the phone and it's like, yo, Tony Gray. You know what I mean? So like I said, he's humble, but I will toot his horn because that's what I do. That's what I do as his wife. That's what I do as his manager, his promoter, and his best friend.
Wow, that's incredible. I tell you, you're really blessed to have that happening for you, because a lot of family, friends, close people, etc., don't support you like that. So,
Nope.
I'm gonna be one to say, hey, congratulations, you really hit the jackpot on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm trying to
I
get
don't take her for granted. I don't take her for granted.
No, he doesn't.
Anytime she wants to go somewhere or do something, I'll drop everything and anything to do it, make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get some good words in for you, Tony, too. Okay. So now, how did you? Again, this is, I think, pretty interesting because you come from two separate environments in terms of music. So talk to us about how each of you got into music and some of your early influences.
Oh, you want me to go first, babe?
Always.
Okay. All right. My earlier influences are T. Scott,
Okay.
Larry LeVan, believe it or not, Frankie Crocker. She knew just what to play and when to play it. That's just to name a few.
Okay. And now you're
But
back.
I was into it. I was doing cookouts and everything before I got really big into the house music scene.
Okay.
I was doing cookouts for the family and stuff. Not really serious about it. I didn't get really, really serious about it until I joined the military.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. I had a residency in Germany.
Okay, now.
Yeah, I was doing a club in Germany, and I said, okay, I could do this. Well, I was already doing it locally, but when I got over there, I just blew it out the water and just kept it going.
Okay. Now, your background wasn't necessarily house, right?
Oh, no.
What is this stuff, huh?
Well, this is the thing. Like, even though my husband won't let me rep Jersey, which is fine.
I didn't say nothing this time. Sit here with my arms folded.
There you go. I left Jersey at an early age, and as you know, when you leave at an early age, you're no longer Jersey to the people in Jersey.
Okay.
So my husband doesn't allow me to rep Newark, but it's okay. But yes, I grew up in the South. I grew up in Alabama. So I grew up listening to all of the Dirty South, all the Luda, the T.I., the Jeezy, the Luke. That was me back in the day. I was that person. So yeah, so our musical, I guess, listening background totally different. And at the beginning, it was a challenge because my husband be like, "That ain't real music. We not listening to that." We would be arguing in the car.
I didn't go that far.
Anyway, so I had to put my foot down and be like, "Look, this is who I am, and this is who you fell in love with, and this is what I'm gonna listen to." So eventually, over time, he was like, "You know what? They don't need me trying to fight this. Just let her do what she do." So what he did for me was he just started introducing R&B and house mixes to me, and slowly but surely, I fell in love with house music, just like I fell in love with my husband.
Oh, wow.
So now I still call myself a baby house head because I don't know a lot about house music history, but I know what I like and I know what moves me.
He knows the recording artist and everything now. He'll come to me and say, "Hey, you can make sure you got this song by so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah, I got it already."
But that's part of my job.
I ain't heard. No, don't leave out the part we say I ain't heard you play it yet. Like, I'm gonna get to it.
Okay, see, I may be just a little bit involved, Dan.
Okay, listen.
But I mean, he takes time and he makes folders, and he has me listen to tracks. As you can see, I'm at work, and even though I'm at work, I'm still supporting and doing what I need to do to help him out. But I listen to tracks and stuff that he sends me. We listen to music together. We create folders together. It's just a lot of stuff that we do in this together. And please, people, do not misunderstand. Yes, what we do as Mr. and Mrs. Gray and what we do as Mr. and Mrs. House Therapy, sometimes they do bleed together. We recognize it when it bleeds together, and we communicate to each other, and we try to separate those things so to keep our relationship healthy.
You know, that's a very, very good point. And the reason I say that is because some families are very supportive and some families are not.
Right.
And it's not because they're evil people. It's just it's just that their flow is different. So I think sometimes, let's say for example,
you faded out, Dan.
Okay, how about, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I said, as I said, it's not, I think sometimes what happens is their flow is different. So they're not really getting it like we get it. And you just got to have love for them and just ask them to just, give you your space when it comes to that. So it's very, and the reason I bring it up is because your marriage works not only from the standpoint of husband and wife, but it also works on career opportunities, career advancements, career interest also. So I'm just commending you guys for that. And plus, it looks like you guys laugh and joke and have a good time with each other and tease each other and all that kind of stuff.
But
like
we put
that.
in the work.
Okay.
We put in the work to make it be what it is. We do.
Right.
We wear a lot of hats too.
A lot of hats. Okay. Different sizes and different styles. Anyway.
There's hats we wear people don't even know, we do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
To push the culture forward.
Absolutely.
We do other things. We do other kinds of music, but we also push house music to the forefront for the most part.
Right.
Yeah. And let me expound on that, Dan. So what Tony's talking about is when I book him under DJ Tony Gray, and I book him under House Therapy. So under DJ Tony Gray, he's allowed to play other music, do other events, and be a part of other things under that brand because he's multifaceted. He can play everything and anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want him to sit on that talent. I don't want him to feel like he's in a box that he only can do house music.
Right.
So what we do is, even as he's playing as DJ Tony Gray, he still incorporates house music into that. That's how we win people over to the house music side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and when there's house therapy, we do our house therapy events under house therapy. So that's nothing but house.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's an event that's house therapy, then that's strictly house music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just two sides to the coin. And I think that's why we're able to do as much as we do and to grow the way that we grow and to be on the platforms that we're on.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so multifaceted, talented, I'm like, okay, we're going to utilize all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not me saying, you're going to do this, this, and this. It's me saying, you tell me what you want to do, and I'll make that happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
Wait
So-
a minute. Hold on.
Until he tries to take over
Okay.
and think he knows what's best for him and the brand, and then I have to remind him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm leaving all that alone.
So this is why I am the wife-inger, the wife, the manager, the promoter, because I have to wear those hats on certain occasions. So I have to remind him, like I did yesterday, I'm not talking to you as your wife. I'm talking to you as your manager.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. Trust my process.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in the trenches. I'm right there with the people that are listening to you. So I know what is being said and what they want. I get what you want to bring them, but you have to know how to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
You may have to start out this way and then incorporate this, and then we'll move to this and we'll do this way, that way, that way.
Mm-hmm.
And when he kind of see it starts working that way, then he'll sit his pride to the side as a DJ that's been DJing 40 years because he's been in this game. Because I get that speech too. I've been doing this. I know what I'm doing. And I have to tell him,
You in the South.
I'm from
You in the South.
So let me do what I do. And let's do this thing right. So yeah, like I said, the lines get blurred plenty of times. Plenty of times I have to say, yo, this is me, your manager talking, not your wife. Then sometimes I have to say, yo, this your wife talking, not your okay.
You gotta say that. Well, you know, I could tell you have hip hop in your background. You know how? I could tell right off the bat. I heard you say, you started rhyming for a minute. I thought you were gonna go into 16 bars. You're gonna put the pride to the side. I said, all right now. You ain't never lied. Anyway, no, never mind. You know what? Wait a minute. What am I doing here? That sounds like a 16 album deal, doesn't it? Anyway, okay. Now, what about? Okay, so I'm gonna have to say it this way. So Tony, you were into house from back in the day, and Tawanda, you found out about it later. So, Tony, what were some of your favorites, some classics from back in the day, and some today's stuff you're feeling? And then I'm going to ask you the same question a little bit differently, Tawanda, because you had to go back and get some of that music. And what were some of the things that you kind of like, ooh, boy, I'm all right with this. So let me hear from you guys.
Oh, some of the tracks I listened to back in the day, like it's so many. I've listened to just about everything on DJ International. Remember that record label?
Of course I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
White label with black letters.
Trax Records.
Sure.
Trax Records.
Out of
see,
Chicago.
I could go Prelude Records.
Sure.
I could do it like that, you know,
Uh-huh.
because I have history in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, because everything else is a blur to me because there's so much. Me and my boy Logan.
Oh, okay.
DJ
Big Logan.
We set up our records. We set up our record collection according to labels, not according to artists.
Interesting.
You know, yeah, because there was so many artists back then doing that thing. There was so much talent back then. You know, you could, you know, it's just so many.
Okay.
And I don't want to leave nobody out.
Which you will, if you
Exactly.
you will.
You know.
But you know, anything pop into your head? I'm always hit with that challenge. Hey, when I got off the interview with you guys, I missed about 20 people that I should have remembered. But that's
Yeah.
another story. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, how about you, Tawanda? Anybody had to go back and get and say, "Oh boy, I didn't know about that," or "I'm feeling this now."
I mean, for me, growing up, I mean, I'm not like fluent like my husband. I mean, I'm just a normal person, so it was just TV for me, MTV or VH1 or whatever. It was, the Whitney or, that Michael Jackson. All we all grew up around that same time, so that's why I fell in love with music. But being with Tony, he introduces me to so much other music. It's crazy. Like, it is so much music, and I don't know how he like keeps some of that useless knowledge in his head, but he does. I've seen him play stuff from country to rock to whatever, and he'll mix it, and you've got this mixed crowd on the floor thinking they're listening to a whole new song, and it's like, yo, it's Sweet Home Alabama, y'all. Y'all know that's Sweet Home Alabama, right? Like, but they just like, oh my God, where did he get that song? Or it's like, he just made that up. But that just comes from us reading the crowd, reading who's there, what they're listening to. And like I said, he always finds a way to transition house music in there some type of way. Because like you said, we are in the South. So it's, you have to be creative of how you feed it to them.
Yeah.
And we've basically, being that he has a residency now at the Art Bar where there's a mixed crowd and there's a built-in crowd as well. And we're in a college town, we're in a military place. Like, you have all different facets of people that come through there that are like, oh my God, I haven't heard this since I was, like he said, in Germany, or I haven't heard this since I was whatever. And, so yeah, so that makes it fun for us as well. But as far as musical influences or background, I'm just the average Joe who grew up during that era of the Michael Jackson, the Whitney Houstons, that, like I said, TV shows, VH1, MTV, nothing special. I don't even know why I'm with this guy, but I'm here.
You know what? I'm not going to eat. She's stuck now. She can talk all that trash she wants. She's stuck. That's right. That's right.
I'm like, I'm Wes. I'm not in this mess. Anyway. Now, what about this? Now, Tony, this question is for you, but it's also for you, Tawanda, too. So, what made you decide to not just listen to the music, but also to play it? And then understand that you are, Tawanda, you're starting to fool around with music, too, in terms of DJing. So what made you go from just listener, dancer, like most people do, and that's as far as they take it, to say, you know what, I want to DJ. I want to make stuff pop here. What happened?
Was that a me question?
Well,
yeah, that was a you question.
It started with Tony. I would get his, but then I know that you're fooling around with the decks a little bit too. So I just want to try to get perspective from both of you. That you said, hey, listen, maybe I can get something going here.
Oh, talking about me and doing DJing.
She know how. She just don't do it.
No, what happened was, for me, it was during COVID. And, we had a lot of downtime. Even though my job didn't stop, his job didn't stop. I think he was still working at the beginning of COVID. And we had a lot of downtime. So I was like, you know what? I think I want to learn how to DJ or whatever. But for me, it was just too many flashing lights and colors, man. I'm going to tell you. I wanted to push all the buttons. I wanted to see what they do. We fuss out.
Sorry, you went.
She froze on us.
Okay.
I was the worst student for him.
Okay.
I was the worst for him. So
that's not true.
Yes, it is. I was the worst.
That's for me to judge, not you.
Listen,
you weren't the worst student.
No, I could do a mix, and what would you do? You would like come in like, okay, start over. You would just stop. I'm like, but I thought I was no, it was off a little bit. And this is the thing. He would not let me like. There's no such thing as a sync button.
Sync, no.
Right now, DJ Tony Gray does not use it. Don't allow people to use it.
No.
Even though I was just playing around, I still couldn't use it.
It's cheating.
Yes, I could not. I couldn't use
No cheat
headphones.
codes.
I couldn't
Okay.
use headphones. I had to listen with my ear through the monitor. Like I was like, I just want to learn. Like, no. So yeah. So after a while, once I got a hang of it, I started doing it on my own with him outside the room, and got kind of comfortable with it. But as far as that, that's just for me as a hobby to just do, my thing. But yeah, shout out to all the female DJs out there that are doing their thing, that's been doing their thing. Y'all, listen, do your thing, ladies. You ain't got to worry about this one. Y'all can have it.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay behind the scenes.
Wow.
Yeah, you wear enough hats.
I do. I do. I do.
Well, this question I think really applies to both of you because both of you are in the thick thing of things, or something like that. Anyway, where is soulful house music? Where is house music headed?
You want to go first, babe?
No, you got it.
Okay, soulful house music is headed to from different places, different states. I push it on different radio stations that I'm on as well. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's getting pushed out there. You know, we actually with the days and times that we're in right now, we need that because the music is healing. It's special. You know, it's not like no other genre of music.
True.
I agree. How about you, Tawanda? What's your perspective as somebody who is in the midst of it and pushing it, nurturing it, exposing it, promoting it?
For me, I'm kind of honored to do that. Now that I've been introduced to house music, soulful house music, it's soothing, it's beautiful, it's healing. To be on the platform that we always try to use our platform to push the culture forward and to support, people in their journey. We never try to have the light shining on us, but to shine on the artist. So when an artist sends us their track or sends us their music, we try to incorporate that wherever we can, even not only on the radio stations, but if we're playing out as well. If we're out in the club somewhere playing, like we will still play that house music track as well. We try to incorporate that. Tony is really good about mixing and how he does things. So we always try to, incorporate other people's music. People that we know, like I said, that will take the time to send me the track, or sometimes we'll just go ahead and buy it. If I see it and I listen to it, I'm like, yo, this is hot. Let's go ahead and get that so we can start incorporating and put it in a rotation. He's on multiple platforms, so we have that opportunity to do that. So I can see it going exactly where it needs to be, but you have to be unselfish in getting it out there.
Ooh.
You can't just feel like that it belongs to just you. And so we just try to make sure that whatever platform we're on, that we're incorporating it well. And Tony has incorporated Soulful Tuesdays into his, I guess, schedule. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah. So even then, that's when we like to do the soulful house, the deep house, some Afro. So we try to give people different flavors and different sides of house therapy.
Wow. Now, Tony, I know you've played a lot of places and with a lot of people. Tell
Oh,
us
yeah.
some of the people you've played with, some of the places you've played with. Are there any people on your bucket list? Share that with us.
I played with Punch. I played with Naeem Johnson. I played with Beloved. I played alongside Jenny Harper before. Tony Humphreys. I done played with some of everybody. I mean, I've done it all.
Okay.
There's not too many people I haven't played with.
Anybody on your bucket list?
Bucket list. Wow. I already played with Scoob. That's my dog. Played with him already. Probably those cats in Baltimore. I would love to play with them. I just played with everybody in Jersey, and I would like to go to Baltimore, play with those guys. Okay. Which I forgot I am. Forgot I'm going on a cruise. I will be. I forgot. Yeah, I will be playing with them soon as well. My bad. Well, okay, that's everybody. That's everybody.
That's not everybody.
That's everybody. No, that's everybody I wanted to play with. That's everybody.
Is it now? Is it?
Yeah, that's it. That's everybody. I mean,
okay. Now
it's 20 DJs on there.
Oh yeah.
Maybe more. Maybe more.
Well, yeah. So I guess some of them do the cruise. Yeah, the cruise will probably do your bucket list.
My bucket list is that cruise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you'll be in the same room with some of the
all of the heavy hitters.
Some of the greatest.
Yeah. Some of the greatest of all time. Yeah.
How about places? Any places that you still want to go?
Huh?
Any places you still want to go?
Be honest with you, I always wanted to play where I'm at right now. Wanda can tell you that.
Okay.
So Wanda can tell you, I've always wanted to play where I'm at right now, even before they had a dance floor. I just love the atmosphere. They back then. They were doing bands. I'm talking about the Art Bar downtown Columbia.
Okay.
I love the place. I loved it before it expanded, and now that it's expanded, and I'm a resident DJ, that's great for me. It's an experience.
Yeah.
The place is an experience. There's people that came from out of town and saw the place and says, "This don't look like it belong in the South." It just doesn't look that way in there. It just doesn't fit the South.
It doesn't. It's like you walking into a whole new world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And people are like, how long has this been here? It's the 90s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, question.
It's an awesome spot. They don't care who you are, where you come from. You know, people from all walks of life come in that place, and you just there to enjoy yourself. Let your mind be free.
Perfect spot for you.
Okay.
Yep. I get to play anything and everything.
Yeah. Now, okay, I just thought popped into my head. You played in the North and you've played in the South. Is it the same? Is it different? What's the same? What's different? What's your perspective on it? That just popped into my head.
It depends on the genre of music. House music is a little harder down here, but I make it work because I'm on multiple platforms doing house music. I'm all over the place. Not no bragging. Not bragging.
No, we're talking.
I'm not bragging.
This is real talk.
My wife has me.
Hey.
The queen has me busy.
Okay. All right. So
you're
the worker bee.
She'll have me do stuff I don't want to do. I tell her straight. I say, look, I don't want to do that. It's paying how much?
Excuse me. Let's revisit that.
I know, right? How much my soul? Just 10% of my soul.
Wow.
I'm scared.
Wow.
No, that's borderline true though. I don't want to play that. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, she booked me for something towards the end of the year, and I told her no. Call them and tell them no. She was like, not yet. I'm not calling them and tell them no.
You had to go to work on you, huh? I got you.
Got some things to work on.
Yeah. She does. I don't. I try not to do certain parts. I just don't do it.
Okay.
She was like, look, you know how. Do it. But I don't want to.
I know. But the awesome thing about that is we have some great DJ friends here in the South that will take those gigs when people reach out to us. Because we're, I don't want to say like we're being noticed, but we're growing and everything is happening so fast. And Tony's only one person, but we have great people in our corners that that will, pick up where we can't when we can't go,
Yeah.
or if it's a gig that he can't take. But it's
Right.
still under the House Therapy or DJ Tony Gray brand. So
Oh, yeah.
we
Yeah.
have an awesome support system, and we surround ourselves with those type of people and those type of DJs, because we're always, like I said, paying it forward and want to be able to allow those people to be on platforms as well. We're not selfish where we're like, oh no, we're just going to keep this to ourselves. Now, there are certain places that he will play, that sometimes he's kind of like, oh, can we get so and so? No, we can't. No, you're gonna do this one.
Yeah.
You're gonna do this one, and this is what we're gonna
Yeah.
do. And I'll talk to the manager or whatever. Sometimes I'll have it written up in the contract where we can like come the day before and set up. The staff will have to unload his vehicle. He does not pick up speakers. He does not do any of that. So there's ways to work around a lot of stuff to make things work. A lot of people only see the aftermath. They only get to see the pictures, where we've had this great event, but the stuff that happens behind the scenes or right there in the midst of it when he's playing and a wire goes short and the speakers go out on this side, and so he's got to dig in the bag and grab this. Yeah, Dan, you got to get the wire and you got to redo this and you got to.
Right.
While everybody's on the dance floor dancing, they have no clue, what's going on up here. Like, yeah, that cord just went out, and he's like, but he always makes sure he has extra
everything.
extra.
2
Right.
laptops.
Yeah.
Everything.
Same here.
Everything. So whenever we go somewhere, we try to cover all our bases and be extremely professional when we do what we do.
Right.
We've never had to. Okay, I'll take that back. I'm lying. There's been a few times where we've had to step out of character and not be professional.
And that
But-
wasn't me.
But that's only because
Yeah.
I have my manager hat on, and sometimes the wife hat come on, and I have to say, my husband's is not Pandora, he's not a jukebox, and no, he's not playing that. Like, yeah, so thank you, but no, we're not doing it. But yeah, so I mean, it's a lot going on. It's a lot as husband and wife. It's a lot as Mr. and Mrs. House Therapy. It's just a lot. And now that we're introducing house calls into our life, it's
Hold on for that one. I got some. Hold on for
You got
that
ahead
one.
of yourself, babe. Got ahead of yourself. Let the
Okay.
narrator do what he does.
Okay, so, all right. I want to kind of show the evolution of this thing here, because first of all, there was. Well, first, real quick, I know you produce at some level. Do you produce, and do you want to do some more producing? What have you done? Is it, what are you going to do with this? Because I know you do some producing at some level. What are you going to do with that?
Talking about me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, she got me doing mashups now.
Okay.
Where I take an old track and take something new. We incorporate it in our show now. So she makes me do my remixes now.
Okay. All right.
I'm already doing it on the show.
Okay.
I'll take somebody else's beat, redo their beat,
Mm-hmm.
and then take an old track. And it's not just me playing the beat exactly over their record. I switch up their track altogether and add another vocal to it.
Can I tell you something? So back in the day, we would take an acapella. I'm talking vinyl days. We would take an acapella and play it over a beat and things of that nature. Now you have software that can do it. And matter of fact, you can even do it on the fly now. Not that you couldn't before.
That's
but
what
you
she got me doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of software do you use, or just to give it an example of something that you've done? And I'm also interested.
Serato does it. Serato does it all now.
Serato Studio.
Serato has 2 separate systems. You can use it on the fly, or you can actually go and make your own stuff in Serato Studios now,
Right.
which I have as well. But I don't use that. I just use the stems, the stem section.
Okay. Interesting.
You know.
Yeah, because again, more and more, like just pretend there's, I don't know, 1 million snowflakes or 1 million salmon swimming upstream, It's like, how do you separate yourself? How do you become, I don't know, maybe the different color snowflake? Okay, you're all white, so maybe you become the red snowflake. How do you, like, all these salmon are going up to whatever they go to breed or whatever. How do you because I think more and more, especially as the technology advances, you're going to say to yourself, well, wait a minute. The other guy just played that song. And as you know, it's not always what you play, but it's how you play it. So
Exactly.
I'm seeing more and more of that. And I'm just, and I'm hearing that with you. And Tawanda, stay at him. Because, yeah. Okay, let me ask this question. Let's talk about house therapy. We're going to talk about the evolution. First of all, how did this come about? What was that about? Did you wake up one morning? Was it something that evolved, or what happened? And boom, now we have.
As far as house therapy, how did it develop?
Yeah, how did that? What was the thinking about it? How did that come about? What is it about? That stuff like that.
House therapy started. Wow, we're going into the 10th year of house therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It started as an idea between a friend of mine, Sean McDaniels, who had Sean used to play at Zanzibar back in the day.
Mm,
yeah,
okay.
He used to play downstairs at the Zanzibar, and I met him here, and I had the idea of house therapy, and we would do, because he's a frat brother, so we used to do house music frat parties.
Okay.
And that's how I came up with the name House Therapy, because he always says house music is therapeutic, it's medicinal. And I was like, okay, that's like a therapist. House therapy. That's how I came about.
Okay.
10 years ago.
Okay, interesting. You know, I got to tell you, and the reason I asked that is because, see, people get ideas every day, but most people don't act on them. And the thing about it too, if you have to crawl before you walk, most people get discouraged and they either quit or they say, well, if it was meant to be, you know, if man were meant to fly, he would have been born with wings, and you know, all that kind of talk.
Right.
And you know, and you really, like, in my mind, the best ideas are still out there. And so, and you really don't know if something's going to hit until the rubber meets the road. So here's my question. Okay, did you know right up front? Did you have immediate success? It's 10 years now. What kept you going? And did you have any, like, struggling or growing pains, or, you know, what am I doing, and any of that kind of stuff?
Boy. Oh, God. So I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus when I answer this question.
Okay.
Because I could do that. I'm not. We're far past that. Let sleeping dogs lie. Yes, the struggle was real. We had people who didn't believe in us. We had people who tried to ruin us. We had the naysayers. But what kept us going is the music. Like we said, the music is therapeutic. And it spreads love. So what you do, you take the music and you spread the love, and the heck with the negativity. You know?
Yeah.
You keep it pushing.
Right.
You know? Because that's what that music is about.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because, like I say, I believe the best ideas are still out there, and they're just not initiated, not worked on, haven't.
Oh, we're not done.
But
not
there's
done.
probably somebody out there who right now who has an idea about something. And I just would want this to be encouragement to that person who has that idea, and to make that thing go from idea to we're taking action, you know. So anyway, that's why I asked you that question. So now tell us where house therapy is today. And I know you have, I'm talking about between the local events, and then we want to talk about the radio show next. So talk about local events and the impact and things that you've done with house therapy, minus the radio show coming up, and we'll talk about that.
Go ahead, babe.
Separately.
She got all of that. She probably
Okay.
got all of that written down because the list is long.
Okay.
Okay. So, let me back up a little bit to expound on what you guys were just talking about. Dan, when you were saying the people that have ideas and to encourage them, to ignore the noise around them and to do, if it's in you and you feel like it's for you, then you keep pushing. Like Tony said, like we've had people like come at us left and right for no reason, but you have to know who you are and you have to know whose you are and you have to know your purpose. You, Dan, would never know that you encouraged us and influenced us and made us want to keep pushing and move forward just by what you do when you show up every day and do what you do in the house music community.
Thank you.
There are other people that are out here doing what they do for the love of house. You have people who's like, oh, I love house music. I love house music. No, actually you don't, because unless you're on a certain platform or in a certain arena, you're not getting paid. And that's from DJs to promoters to whoever. Like, people don't know everything that Tony and I do is in-house. My husband does flyers. He does everything for house therapy and everything that we do. Nothing is outside of what we do. There's too much talent in his marriage and relationship for us to allow a snake in.
We don't outsource.
Has snakes been in our camp? Absolutely. Have I cut them off? Absolutely. Will I continue to cut them off? Absolutely. But I need people to understand what we have is a brand. We have a business. We take it seriously. You have people that'll be in and out of this thing. This is what my husband needs. This is therapeutic for my husband. This is his medicine. So I make sure that he takes his medicine daily.
Okay, now.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's for me. That's what drives me to do it. So for anybody on the outside looking in, you have people that are now like, oh, they not that big. They not that great. They ain't nobody, whatever. That's okay. I don't have to be anybody to you.
Right.
But I know who I am, and I know the platform that we are on. That was not done by anything that we did specifically. That was God's grace and his favor to say, okay, you know what I'm saying? He knows our heart. He knows we're paying it forward. There are so many people in this industry, like I said, that he knows. He can name drop all day, every day, but he doesn't. That's why people look at him like, who is he? He from Jersey. He started internet radio. You don't know that. You don't know, you know what I'm saying, that Wendy Williams was the person that was emceeing his show before she became Wendy. Like, y'all don't know the history there, but I do. We have the receipts. So like I tell my husband, you don't have to toot your horn. I'll toot it for you, because as long as you're here, I will give you your flowers. So if I'm on a platform where I can say, okay, yes, DJ Tony Gray deserves to be where he's at, he does. Whether you know him or not, he still does. So at this point, like my husband said, yes, I keep him busy, but I do that, Dan, like I said, because this is medicine for my husband. So what I'll do is I'll just go through a quick list of the platforms that he's on.
Okay.
All right. So Monday through Friday, he's on 87.9 Heat FM. It's a radio station out of Charlotte. And he's on there from 2 to 4. That's Monday through Friday every day. On Tuesdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., he does his Soulful Tuesdays, and he goes live on Mixcloud and YouTube. And then on Thursdays, he does My House Radio from 1 to 3, and he does that. He's live on Mixcloud and YouTube on there as well. And then Thursday night, he's back on 87.9 Heat FM. From 8 to 10 p.m., he does throwback. He does the classics, the throwback hip hop, whatever. And then from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m., it's nothing but house music on the station.
Wow.
Then on First Fridays, we do First Friday Memory Lane Mix. That's when he takes you back to Zanzibar and all those places when he does all the classics. He does his mixes. He just takes everybody back down memory lane. Depends on what type of mood in. That's what we get on our First Friday Memory Lane Mix. And he does that live on Mixcloud and YouTube. And then on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursday, he does the daily mix on the Glam and Red show, which is on Holla.
Wait, hold on. Okay, we're gonna get to that in a minute. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Let me just give a few shout outs here. I see Pam Weathers is in the house. Hey Pam, how you doing?
Hey Pam.
Naeem Johnson's in the house. How you doing,
Oh,
Naeem?
what's brother Naeem?
Uh-huh.
Brother Naeem coming to house call. Yeah.
Shonda T. CJ is in the house.
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey guys.
Listen, again, for me, it's so powerful. Again, I just want to have this conversation because, again, I believe the best ideas are still out there. And there's somebody out there right now who's saying, I got this idea, oh no, this and that. I'm saying go for it. And you'll figure it out as you go along. No, I don't know. Again, when I did the I always let people know, like we all get blessed, we all get help somewhere, or somebody says, okay, I'll do something, but you got to get on the road. That's the bottom line. You got to get on the road. The first interview I've done, and I've said it many, many times, is and you got to remember, like, I had this idea. I'm sitting on the idea for almost a year. I'm sitting on the idea of doing Soulful House Nation, but I was doing this other show, and I was like, man, I don't know anybody. So anyway, I go to Military Park one day, and there's this guy that's sitting here that I know is pretty popular in the house music, community. And I see him at the end of Military Park, and I approached him, and I says, I'm doing this show called Soulful House Nation. Me, I have no legs under me. Everybody's suffering from a bad case of Dan who? Matter of fact, I've been told that some people thought I was a cop. Anyway. And so I approached this guy, and he says yes, and I did my first interview. Again, I really didn't know exactly where that's going to go. But one of the decisions I did make right up front, that you mentioned Wendy Williams, all due respect to her, but this was not going to be a gotcha show. I'm not going to try to jam people up, and I just didn't. That's just not my flow. So anyway, I got that interview, and then others came along subsequently that really, really I've been really blessed. I've had some interviews with some tremendous people, including Naeem. And by the way, we need to do an update, Naeem, if you're still listening. Anyway, but the first person that ever gave me an interview was Eddie Nicholas. So I'm sure you know him. Everybody knows Eddie from the community.
Good dude.
Exactly. But, so all I'm just saying, and maybe I took too long on this, but I'm just saying the best ideas are still out there. And if you have the idea, you need to move on it. And believe me when I tell you, when you move on it, things will start to flow. Now, you're going to have setbacks and all that kind of stuff, but things are going to start to flow. Anyway, let me get down off that thing right there. So let's talk about you're in all over the place. And then all of a sudden, ring, ring, bring, bring. What is it? Who know what? Who? Honey, you expecting anybody? Who coming here this kind of, we don't get, I want no company. Who? This whole thing called house calls. Talk
you
to
did
us.
So good, Dan.
You did a great job, Dan.
Thank you. Matter of fact, it aired today. Isn't that, you know what? There's a set of circumstances that put us here today, but you gotta know that must be, you're talking about God's grace and the Anyway. So tell us about house calls, what's the concept, how that came about. You guys are pushing it, and you're pushing it into the hip hop / R&B world. Let me just say one little thing, and then I'm gonna fall back for a minute. So almost everybody that I've interviewed has hip hop in their background. They have R&B in their background. If they especially play soulful house. So you're pushing it, promoting it, exposing it to that environment. Tell us the story about house calls.
I guess that's me, huh?
That's your baby. That's your baby.
All right. Well, House Calls with TNT, it is my baby. It just came to me one day. Because Tony's on the Glam and Red show. So our show was basically like I like to say, a show within a show. So there's the Glam and Red show. Shout out to Glam and Red for allowing us to do this. I pitched it to her that I wanted to do a show called House Calls, because someone had approached me about doing a podcast, and I was like, oh, I don't know anything about doing a podcast. whatever. I have no clue. So I was like, well, maybe if I start off by doing this, and then I could kind of get used to it and find out, what I need to do. So I pitched it to her, and she was like, oh, great idea, whatever. So we put a show together and we sent it to her, and she loved it. Everybody in her camp loved it. So like that next week, she was like, we need to do an interview with you and Tony to introduce House Calls and all this. I was like, oh, okay, like this is really happening. So with the thing with House Calls is I wouldn't say that like it's scripted, but I have different segments on there. So in the beginning, of course, I introduce who we are. Then we do like different segments, like we do the smash up. You'll hear me say, I'm doing my Wheels of Tunes, where Tony has to pick these two songs and he has to mash them together. Yeah, because I get to hear the speech all the time. I've been doing this 40 plus years. I know what I'm doing, yada, yada, yada. So
she puts me on the spot.
Yes. So I incorporated the Wheel of Tunes. So whatever pops up, those two songs, you got to cue them up and you got to mash them together. So he doesn't even have time to So, but he's been doing great at that. So we have that. And then we have a segment that's called Random, whatever. And that's where we just talk about anything and everything. On the show, my goal is to interview everybody that is music industry related. So it could be an entrepreneur or promoter, a DJ or artist. It could be anybody that's on the show that we'll interview. And everybody that I've reached out to so far has been absolutely gracious and love it and want to be on board. There are a lot of people I haven't reached out to yet, but I will. Don't think I won't. So I will be reaching out to people as far as that. But the show has been doing great. We debuted at over 200,000 listeners. Our first show. It's crazy that we haven't even we've only did 4 shows. You were our first for June. Did great, Dan. Loved it. People love to be a part of it because it's not a regular Q&A. It's just us laughing and chatting and talking, and you get to, we like to shine a spotlight on you, whoever we're interviewing. You get to introduce yourself to the world and to people. And like you said, we're in the R&B hip hop world. Like their show is basically hip hop, R&B or whatever, but our show is house music. So at the top of their show, about 6:20, 6:30, is Tony's daily mix. So Tony plays for 30 minutes at the top of their show. And then my show, House Call, is at the end of their show. So you get house music at the beginning and you get the end. And the beautiful thing about it, which I really didn't think about it, is it plays so many times. Like on Monday, it plays 3 times. On Fridays, it plays 3 times. On Saturdays, it plays 2 times. We're on multiple radio stations. They're under iHeartRadio. So
125 stations.
Yeah. So please follow the Glam and Red show. A lot of people click on it and say, but I don't hear y'all. No, we're the show within the show. Right. So unless God says something different, that is our platform for right now for House Calls. It's an entity under House Therapy. So it's great. Like we get to just talk like we're talking now. We joke with each other. Like I said, we have our little skits and stuff that we do. My husband hates it, but I keep, you'll hear my little drop in there when I be like, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I tell him, it's not. We be like, but I be like, ain't nobody coming to see you though. Ain't nobody coming to see you. It's okay. You just push the button. When you see me wave my hand, you push that button. And then he be like, you ain't the boss of me. I be like, but am I not, Tony though? So those are the stuff you'll get to hear, but you get to hear how funny my husband really can be and how talented he is. And hopefully the show will grow really, really big where we can have more time. I think Glam told me that she does have more time to use. but she is working on that. So hopefully house calls will be a part of that. So our interviews could be a little longer and you guys are able to tell the audience a little bit more about yourselves, because everybody that I interview, all of you guys have history in this game. And I want the world to know that. And we're just using our platform with House Calls with TNT to introduce that to the world to help push house music to the forefront. Because like Tony says, like music's changing. You have, with R&B, hip hop and all that, everything is changing. So people want something different. And this is the thing, you don't know you want it until we give it to you.
Hey.
Once we give it to you, it's like, yo, what is that? And it's like, you're listening to XYZ and it's like, whoa, I've never heard it like that. That's because he just put it together like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
music is changing, but I feel like soulful house, all genres, Latin house. Like I had people come to me the other night, which my husband doesn't know, that request, hey, does he have any Latin this and Latin that? And can he play this and can he play that? And people know, no, DJs do not take requests. No, my husband does not take requests, but you can tell me.
Okay.
And as his wife, what I do is I see what folder he's in. I see what BPMs he's in. And sometimes he'll let me squeeze in the request in there every now and then. And then sometimes he'll give me that husband look or that DJ look. Like, don't come over here. Don't come over here. I'm like, okay, I'll come back.
Right.
So I mean, he's still DJ Tony Gray. He's still in control when he's up there playing. But as his wife, and he knows I'm out there talking to the people, and he knows that when I come back to him, it's like, okay, we need to do this or we need to do that. But yeah, House Calls is growing. So far, we've had you, Dan. Thank you. We've had Scoob, who kicked off the whole thing for me. He was my first guest. And we had DJ Scoob, Anaya Weathers, Wally Young was last week. We had Bottom of the Bottle. Next week is going to be DJ Doughboy.
Okay.
We got Beloved coming up, Elias. We got Naeem. Oh my God, we've got Tommy Davis. Like, in other words, I am like booked all the way up to September already. And I'm also doing a Women's Month where I've got some powerful women in the house music community that'll be on that month. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes to come. So please, if I've reached out to you, and you haven't heard from me yet, that I will reach out to you when it's closer to your week because I have you on my calendar. So I will reach out and we'll do your interview, and then we'll just go from there. But yeah, it's growing, it's moving, the numbers are moving. The more the numbers move up, the more the Glamour Red Show is being asked to be on different stations. Like Tony said, right now they're over 125 stations. They're on iHeartRadio. They're growing. So as they grow, we grow. So we push it. So ultimately what I want to do is also I'm going to have a House Calls with TNT YouTube page. So you'll be able to go back and listen to the interviews in case you missed it, even though, it's playing like 10 times in the week, but still, people work, people have lives or whatever. So we'll do House Calls with TNT so people can go back and listen to every show. So we'll start loading those up down the road.
Wow, that's fantastic. House music, this is what I would say. House music is very, very interesting in that, well, let me just say this first. All mainstream music starts underground. But what house music is done, I'm going to say is almost like Lazarus. It started underground. In terms of the mainstream, it kind of passed away, but now it's rising again.
Right.
And now I know for the underground house heads, for the most part, they can say, "Oh no, it never went away." No, that's true, it never went away, but there was a point where you could hear it in the daytime, like when regular times. Now it's starting to creep into the daytime. When you get I don't know if you listen down there, but you had people on like BLS sometimes having like a lunchtime thing, where they were getting house music in. You have other DJs who are getting this stuff in, but more and more, again, this thing is like it's coming, and really, what you're doing is incredible, and to get on at that level. this is going to constantly draw. And two, I'm in agreement with you. Like now, of course, I'm not old enough to personally know this, but I got a lot of research in here. But who knew they needed a Walkman? I mean, until it came out, who knew they needed that? But again, I'm certainly not old enough to know about that personally. I just know from research. But but I think too with the house music, that a lot of people would love it if they knew about it. And what you're doing is tremendous. And again, I'm making the serious connection between the station you're on, which is typically R&B and hip hop. Mm-hmm. But again, if you talk to most of the DJs and most of the people that are in the house community, they come out of that background. And if you want to prove it, play some of it for them. Especially the, they say the 90s is the golden era. You play some of that stuff for them, and you watch them come alive in a whole different way. So this is fantastic stuff you're doing. Hey, listen, as we wrap up, any final thoughts, any projects or anything that you're working on that you want to share? And
Oh, yeah. So what we have coming up is on June the 9th, Tony will be back at the Art Bar in Columbia, downtown Columbia. Mm-hmm. So we'll be back there at the Art Bar again, Mr. and Mrs. Gray doing our thing. And then on June 11th, he's a part of, Tony will be playing with the House Cafe at 4 p.m. radio show. Mm-hmm. Switzerland with Babu, she reached out to him to do a mix for them on Radio Deep. Mm-hmm. So June 11th at 4 p.m. he'll be playing. He got a mix playing in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, in November, we have the House Music Hills Cruise with DJ Scoob. So Tony will be a part of that. Excuse me. He'll be a part of that with a lot of heavy hitters. We were going on a cruise anyway, but definitely, I mean, that is definitely a bucket list thing for us, the cruise and him actually playing on one. So that's a 2-in-1. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have our T-shirts and coffee mugs and totes and sweatshirts thing. We have that on Bonfire. So that's bonfire/housemusicgear.com. If anybody want to purchase a House Therapy T-shirt or a coffee mug or a tote or whatever, and we're doing that as well. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. And as you can see, like I said, I'm doing this from work. So, I still have my full-time job, So until God says different, I will be continuing to wear my hats, continue to support. We'll continue to pay things forward, bless those that bless us, and support those who support us.
Well, that's fantastic.
And there it is. Wow. I am Mrs. House Therapy. Just Google us.
Fantastic. Hey, let me give a few little shout outs here to people who came.
All right.
Millie Mills is in the house. What's up, Millie Mills? Then
What's up, Millie?
Yeah,
I will be reaching out to you, Millie Mills. You and Deuce.
All right. Great interviews, by the way. Naeem, and again, Naeem was one of those people who gave me an interview when, once again, everybody was suffering from a bad case of, damn, who is that? And he was gracious enough, to do that.
Yeah. He'll be coming soon. All
right. Shonda T's in the house. So, folks, listen, if people want to contact you, follow you, keep up with you, how do they do it?
Like I said, you can either Google DJ Tony Gray, you can Google me under my government name, Tawanda Smith Gray, or you can Google me under I Am Mrs. House Therapy. We have several pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Trust me, you can find us. But I do most of my promotion heavy on my Facebook page under Tawanda Smith Gray. Like I said, we've got DJ Tony Gray page. We've got a House in the South page. We've got several pages on social media. So like I said, if you Google DJ Tony Gray, all that stuff will come up. And then if you Google me, and then all our stuff is there. The house music gear on Bonfire, all of it's there in one collab. So they definitely can reach out. Our information is there for them.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, it's been a joy and a pleasure. We're going to come in here for a soft landing. As you know, folks.
Dan, one more thing. For my show, House Calls with TNT, I do a segment that's called the Hot Track of the Week.
Okay.
So if there's anybody out there that's got a new mix or new music, artist, anything that you want debuted on the radio, please go ahead and reach out to me and Tony. and we can incorporate that on our hot track of the week, and we can promote that for you. That's free promotion for you as well, for the artist or for the DJ or for whomever. Again, like I said, our goal is just to pay it forward and to move house music to the forefront here in the R&B hip hop world. So that's our goal. That's our path. That's our purpose, and we're just gonna continue to just walk in it, and hopefully it comes to fruition of what it wants to, what we want it to be.
Question. Do you do you have to really be able to sing to? Because I was thinking.
He can't help himself.
I can't help myself.
He can't help himself.
I was thinking, especially now with artificial intelligence and stuff like that, maybe here's my shot. Anyway, I just wondering.
Hey, Dan, me and you we're gonna do a duo, and then try to produce.
I'm not messing with neither one of y'all.
We'll call the group Shower Singers Unite. How about that? Get all the shower singers together, and then anyway. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much. Hey, listen. It's really, really a pleasure for you guys to come on. Every time we get together, we have a good time. Of course, next time I'm in Colombia, I'm gonna look you guys up again. So it was always a joy and a pleasure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can sit down.
You're more than welcome to stop by the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know that.
Yeah. We'll sit down. We'll have a glass of water or something like that. Huh? I'm a heavy drinker. I'll have it on the rocks. How about that? Anyway.
Okay.
All right. So
you want nothing to eat? You good?
Huh?
You want nothing to eat? You good?
Oh yeah, I'll take some food.
I'm good. I'm good on that grill.
Okay then. All right. Well, I'm a shrimp guy. All right.
Lord.
Not spicy though. I don't think food should burn my mouth. Now my father, forget about it. You couldn't make it spicy enough. I don't think my nose should run and my eyes should water. Huh? Anyway, yeah. So. We're going to go into the next segment, which is the Shazam Free Zone, where we not only play it, we say it, and we play only brand new tracks. You get a chance to decide whether you like it or you don't like it. And, of course, we mix them. And sometimes I try to, have fun with it, meaning that I never played the track before, but, I just want to get that fresh look. But most of the time, I got an idea what I'm doing. Nah, let me stop playing. I always have an idea what I'm doing. Doesn't always turn out the way I want it to turn out, but I got an idea. So listen, we're gonna go into the next segment. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And just so you know, we're on Facebook, of course. We're on Instagram. We're on what else? We're on Twitch. We're in a whole bunch of places. I mean, right now, thank God for this. We get the least amount of views on, let's say, Facebook and Twitch, but we're on multiple platforms, the website, Twitter, all its places like that. So right now we're averaging on when we do the shows, we're over 2,000 views, live views. So the thing is growing on this end too. And the reason I say that is because I'm going back to what you say. You get the idea, and only you got that idea. The Lord gave it to you. And nobody else has to be on it. You got to be your own yes, and you guys are your own yes. And hey, continue blessings, and continue blessings, continue blessings. All right, folks. We will see you on the other side. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
DJ Dan. Show for House Nation. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Name of that last track was Lewis Radio. That was called Nana. There's another track here, new track here. It's called Better Be Moving. This is Jukes and Texture.
What I like about soul music is
this track is called Keep On Dancing.
Keep dancing, baby. Now what I like about soul music is keep dancing, baby. Keep dancing, baby. You don't have to run. Keep dancing, baby. You don't have to hide all day and all night. Straight into your soul. All day and all night. All day and all night. 24/7, 365. We're keeping the soul alive. All day and all night. You don't have to hide all day and all night. Straight into your soul. All day and all night. gotta love it, baby, you gotta love it. Now what I like about soul music is keep dancing, baby. Now what I like about soul music is keep dancing, baby.
All new tracks, all new
Keep
tracks.
dancing, baby.
It's called Keep Dancing, DJ Rico.
You don't have to run. Keep dancing, baby. You don't have to hide all day and all night. Straight into your soul. All day and all night.